Well, what is this? Come on, just do the show.
Okay.
Now that's the intro.
Okay.
Welcome to Confidently Uncertain, the podcast hosted by me, Nick Vick.
And me, Azero Alcala.
And today is episode 16.
How are we going to stop doing that?
Well, I know the number. I'm not gonna stop if I know the number.
You edit.
I said maybe also to make it clear, but I just did editing today of the episode, so it's fresh in my mind. The last episode was episode 15.
16 then.
Yes, we're on 16.
We're on 16.
Yeah. But yes, welcome to the show. Still young. It's something to think about. This show is still young. But when you think about how long we've been doing it, 16 episodes, that is 4 months. And that's not even including the fact like we've had some gaps. We've done every other week as of recent. And we've been doing this longer than 4 months, but it's still like this is as long as the time that feels. The show's still pretty young.
But have you ever thought of this? Like even with the gaps and all that, technically in the beginning we kind of filled those gaps because we made a lot of episodes in advance. So if you really kind of put that in perspective, we were technically
you could say half a year. It's been half a year of us doing this podcast, still doing this podcast.
Yeah,
to commemorate us right there. Oh, because you check with the last episode, it sounds like we really want to quit, like we're contemplating it. But right here, I mean, I don't know about you, it could be all the green tea I drank, but I am chipper, I am awake, and I'm ready to dive into this.
I'm very surprised. Like I actually had a legit 12-hour shift. Mm-hmm. And I still feel fine.
Yeah, and maybe it's just getting that stuff off our chest. Last episode, we're coming in with a different mentality.
Yeah, because I think just coming in as a more fun conversation, like just making sure we're wired to that instead of the work. It feels so much better.
Yeah, I think there's also this relaxed thing of like what our topic is today. Look at that perfect segue.
Yeah.
We did discuss maybe like the specifics of it, but overall this is like an update episode of ours. And what I've been saying is that this is, we both done these big projects. Mine was the short film Hide, and yours was a collection of portraits you did. Like they were all done from the same angle. Like they're supposed to be a collection. They work best next to each other. Which interesting thing I found out before this. You didn't think that was a big project?
No, I don't know. I just felt like I could have done more with that. Not that I regret it. I really love them to death. They're amazing, and I'm very proud of myself for that. But maybe it's because I'm, without thinking about it, comparing it to your big project, which was Hide. So I know that it was a big project, but I look at the work that you put in your big project, and I'm like, wow, that is a lot of work.
You looked at your art project and compared it to a film. I don't think you're supposed to do that.
I'm not supposed to do that, but I can't help
it. Imagine if like a firefighter put out a fire, but they saw a paramedic revive someone. Like, but I'm not reviving people.
I guess it's like the situation of. With film medium, it's you also talked about this yourself. If you start something with film, it's a lot. The process is much longer than if I just draw something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, so I was literally there when you were putting the countless hours into that one project, and for me that one project for the portraits was just a month or something like that. And but again, I know I'm wrong. I know I shouldn't be doing that. It's just I was also telling Nick, we're both still have our insecurities. We still have like our trials that we have to go through internally, and this what we want to talk about.
And I think that's really great too. Looking back at episode 2. Straight up called insecurities. Just because we talked about it one episode doesn't mean they're gone. Like we still deal with them, And the funny thing is, like, hearing some of the things you said before we started recording, I'm like, dang, it's like you need to listen to the show. Like, weren't you there? Like, I can repeat everything you told me.
Right.
But yeah, and to go more into that, like, yeah, we've had those big projects, and I keep saying these 3 questions, and I think the more I say them, the more I actually forget how I originally said them.
Yeah.
But it was, well, where do we go from here? How are we going to do it? And how do we feel about that approach? Because well, we're both in this same boat. You didn't even know you were in this boat until I brought up, like, yeah, you did a big project. But I think it's just because, like, you were deeper in it than me, or maybe just in a different place. Like, I think there's similarities between them, in which when we finished our big projects, we got left with that question lingering on mind of, like, oh, what's next? And it's kind of like, it could be detrimental. It can hurt to do that to yourself right after finishing something so big, something that took so much out of us, something we're so proud of. And then once it comes out, we don't really take the moments to cherish it, because it's that thing of, like, what's next now? We gotta keep moving, you know? Like, we need to slow down. But it could be, I call it that thing in which is like, yeah, you're able to tell yourself why it's okay to slow down, while at the same time having a voice in your head telling you why you should not.
Yeah, I think it's a healthy balance between the two, but I think dissecting both those sides is really important. Why do you feel this certain? Why do you feel like you should slow down versus why you feel like you should work more? Do you want to work more because you feel like you have to work more, or do you want to work more because there is, a deadline or a reason tied to it? It's not just a matter of base insecurity. So that's why I've been noticing lately.
I've actually found for myself, there was this thing, like, with Hyde. It was approach to a genre I've never done before, and I've found in myself that comedy is my favorite genre to play with. That I think that's part of the reason, like, why I want to, like, jump into a new project, is because I did a horror, but I remember the whole, like months before it came out, I was like, oh, I really want to make a comedy. I really want to release something funny right now. That now that it's out, I just want to just jump back in to make it a comedy. Part of it is, like, feeling like I want to, and the other part is feeling like I have to. Which, like I said, I keep saying, like, partly the reason is because I want to make a comedy, but more to be broader than this, like, feeling like I have to make a comedy, I feel like I have to make another project. Almost like Hyde didn't give me the big enough impact that it's not going to be, like, the reason I make it big or the reason I get a new fan base. That I am like, it like, in that regards, I am almost seeing it as, like, it doesn't work. It didn't work. I need to try again. But it's, that separates me from my creative side. Like, it separated the reason I made Hyde was to express my creativity, not so much to be the thing that gets me big. And that's, like, going back to our early episodes in which we talked about that type of approach. Like, do art because you want to. Don't do every project as, like, this is the thing that's going to make me big and I get to skip all the troubles.
Yeah, I'm definitely there. With similarly to that reasoning with my art. The portraits that I did were definitely a style in which I was not totally that wasn't totally my go-to style. Not that it was uncomfortable, it was actually really fun, but now I want to kind of take a different angle with what I want to do. And with that said, now that I'm doing that, I'm trying to, like, kind of take a step back and think, am I doing this next project because I'm trying to see what else bites, or is it because I actually want to do it? Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really just, I hear like what I just said, almost like being just repeated back to myself.
Yeah.
It is that thing of, like, why am I doing this? Why do I want to do this? And I feel like it's almost doing both of the reasoning. Like, I want this to give me a new fan base. I want this to make an impact, grab attention. I also want to be creative. But I don't know if you ever found this, but there's sometimes I find myself wanting to work on something else. Like, I will, let me restart. There's times I find myself rejecting furthering an idea because I think, oh, well, that won't make me big though. That won't make an impact.
All the time. Yeah, like lately that's been the case. I just started a series right now. I haven't posted it or any. Well, I've been posting it, but it hasn't been officially called a series yet. I'm planning on making it, but yeah, that's exactly it. I'm kind of dipping my feet in different places, and I'm enjoying it. But sometimes that thought just kind of pops in, like, will this make it big on, let's say, like this platform or Patreon or Instagram or whatever. I totally get that.
Like right now for me, I find myself like I'm writing a new script. Well, it's the noise. It's a script I've been working on for a while, and I catch myself on days in which I'm like, I want to write, and I say, well, don't write the noise though, because that won't be made. That's a pretty big project. It won't be made next. So start writing something that you can make right away. And then I had to like tell myself, wait, no, you're writing because you like writing, right? I had to ask myself that, and I just like, I know what's going to happen. It's that I really want to finish the story, The Noise. I've been showing friends it, and they're very interested to see where the story goes. And I want to finish it because it's like, it would be great to say I have this script finished.
Yeah.
But I can see if I jump into another script and try to put all my focus on there when, in all honesty, the idea is not crafted completely yet, that I'm going to like neglect The Noise. It's going to be longer till it gets done. At the same time, I'm going to probably bring myself down because this is an idea that I'm not so much craving to continue, but more like feeling like I have to, that when it's just not panning out well, because again, it's like half baked. Hell, some of them quarter baked. It's like, wow, why can I get this story? I'm not creative, but it's like, I am creative. I have a project I'm doing really well on. Like, it's like, I want to keep writing that story. I want to finish it, and then just say I have the script that people can read and enjoy. And if I make another script that can get filmed pretty soon, like, that's great. But I want to make sure like I'm not doing it because I feel like I have to.
I have a little bit of a tangent and a question, because you brought up a good point just now. But I want to quickly say, for an artist like myself, a visual artist, which I kind of churn out stuff much faster than you do right now. Like when it comes to like Instagram, I have to keep updating, right? I kind of beat the algorithm, quote unquote. That's also one of my struggles. I actually in the past have been very like very self-conscious about what content I post, because for me, I always try to kind of move away from the easy stuff. The easy stuff includes macho men, like sexy girls, just compositions that were already done. I really honed in and focused on not doing that. And, I think it was good and bad. It got me off my comfort zone, but it was a little bit toxic at times, because there were some times in which, yeah, I did want to draw like a kind of a more provocative type painting or something like that. But then in my mind, I'm like, but I'm not that. Like, I don't want to do that. Right?
Yeah, you found it more like you were treating it like it was a rule. It was a limitation that, as opposed to you saying, oh, I just don't want to. You were saying, oh, no, I should not. Yeah. I cannot. It's a waste of time if I do.
Yeah. And, but I know, because I know, like, I feel like I could grow much faster. No, I know I can grow much faster if I did a lot of provocative ones. Right. But I don't necessarily. But for me, even to this day, I still don't want to be known for that. But I'm getting better at being okay with, like, okay, if I want to draw a sexy girl, I'm going to draw a sexy girl. If I want to draw like a buff-ass dude, I'm going to draw a buff-ass dude, and the reason I bring it up is because that leads to my question. I want to know if you gone through this too. Are you afraid that your style or like your consistency with your style will it is kind of like wavering? Like since you're going all over the place, you feel like um at least for me, I feel like yeah, there's nice and pretty, and then now I'm going to creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm kind of teetering tottering right now, and I'm afraid that I'm losing my consistency with my content because there's a lot of people that post like just beautiful girls, like and different variations of it, but that's what they're known for. And I'm still trying to find out what exactly will I stick to.
I definitely feel that, and
Mm,
it's not even just like a thought I had that came out of nowhere. It is pretty much what was delivered to me when you do any type of research, because the idea across from it is that people will come to you as a brand, whether you're going as yourself Azero Alcala or you make the name Art of Azero, like whatever it is, but you're making a brand for yourself. And it's recognizing like, well, who's your target audience and what are people going to you for? And I don't think it's stupid to think this, because it does make sense. You get you people will follow you more because they know what type of work they're gonna get. They know what to expect, and they want more of a certain thing, and they get it from you. I see it like we could compare it to like something that we as simple as like going to a restaurant. You go to a certain restaurant because you know what they're gonna give you. That's why you choose. You crave one thing, you want something, and you know where to get it. You know what it's gonna be like. You got an idea of the quality. Um, and even if I was thinking like musicians play around a lot, but they I mean, like play around I'm not saying every musician, every artist kind of like stays in one genre, but it is highly praised when they like deviate from it. But it could also be something that gets people very mixed, because you say if there was a metal band out there, a metal band can do a whole album of metal music and they get that fan base. Now, their next album was something that was more like a fusion jazz. They risk alienating the fans who went to them for metal. Even if they do it really well, it's just like, but no one will go to this metal band for jazz. But again, that does not mean artists don't do that. That doesn't mean it doesn't work out well. But it's risky. It's risky to do. And yeah, for myself, what I have read, this was something pertaining to making a script portfolio. And what they said was you don't really make a portfolio of scripts. It's more you have these scripts to showcase what you could do, and what it kind of is like you show someone one script, and then if that person's interested, like, okay, what else do you have? Like they want to jump to another script, and they would say like you could do a number of genres. You could do comedy, horror, drama. You can have all the scripts collected. But when that person reads your first script, they want to box you into one genre just so they know what to do with you. They want to know what your strengths are. They want to know how you're going to sell yourself. So I recognize that in my work, and that for my own satisfaction, it works perfectly. For people who just love seeing my work and enjoy what I do, it works perfectly. But I know for selling myself, it is not. I'm doing a very poor tactic. That if I showed him a comedy script right now and he asked what else do I have a suspense drama for them. You go to my YouTube page, you don't really know what I specialize in, because
yeah.
I've done comedy, suspense, drama, and horror. So it's like, well, what are you doing? Which one is it?
Yeah, it's a similar idea with concept art and portfolios. It's essentially the same thing. You don't want such a general based portfolio because that goes all over the place. Okay, what are you good at? Right? What is the thing you like doing? What is the thing that you're most known for? If you like drawing scary monsters and all your portfolio is scary monsters, they'll know what to hire you for, scary monsters. But if it's like, PG rated films, and then there's like this gore, and then there's like different types of stuff in this portfolio, it gets scattered. Now and that's definitely prevalent for work. If someone's trying to hire you, That's something that is very important. But we're in a kind of unique position in which we have a say of where our brand goes. It's not we're not trying to cater to a company anymore. I mean, if it happens in the future, great. But for me personally, I'm trying to find out exactly what is my brand. What is something that I want to be known for, and I'm trying to figure out right now what is the structure, what is that foundation that I want to grow off of.
Well, I heard you say you were not catering to a company, but if we're trying to make a own personal brand, we are still catering to our audience.
Yes.
And yeah, some people do love it when it's like this person clearly doesn't give a fuck. They do what they want. That is also kind of like a brand right there. But I feel like there is always this consistency, and I would also say that brands with better consistency will just have a bigger fan base in general. So it's like if you do some inconsistent work, or you're playing with multiple genres, you will get a fan base. It can be done. I'm not saying it won't, but just kind of what is kind of shown is just won't be as big because some people might like you. I think if I go back to a musical artist, I would find a rap song I really like, and I'm like, oh yes, this is great. And I found out this rap song was like a one-time thing on their album. So I don't really listen to all their work because I'm like, oh, they're not really, they don't really do this genre all the time. They play with it once. So they didn't get me to become a fan of them. They got me to become a fan of that song. And yeah, I mean, I try to find that structure too. And to be honest, it is the direction at this moment, like where I want to go is that I want to work on more comedies. I want to make that my focus at the moment. And overall, it's like dabble in other genres, yes, but I want to show my focus in comedy because what I want to be known for, what I want my brand to be is something that, as of now, I want the brand to be something that shows a unique style of comedy because I feel like that is something that's going to be most apparent to people and expresses most apparent to people about how I'm expressing my comedy. You even said like it's a unique style. You even complimented me one time by saying like I want you to make another comedy video because there's times I want to laugh, and then there's times I want to laugh at your work, and it's not even like because I know you, Nick. It is because like there's a way you do it, and I love that. So yeah, that's where I want to bring that focus, and also because like when it comes to becoming a writer, I see like I would want to be a writer in any writing room for any genre. I think I could do a handful of genres, more than just one, but I could see myself flourishing the most in a comedy writing group.
Yeah, I actually feel the same exact way. I'm pride myself in being able to replicate and thrive in many styles. But yeah, I want that one style in which I can be the most known for and the most comfortable with, because you do want to do something you're comfortable with. You're pretty much entirety of your career, because that's the thing, that will push you forward.
Yeah. It's like Jordan Peele is a good example of this. He established himself as a comedian before jumping in trying to reestablish himself as a horror writer and director. For years he was doing comedy, acting in comedy, writing in comedy, and then got the praise on Key and Peele. Then they did Keanu. Like he had a well-established comedy career. And when he did that film Get Out, I don't know if people like me, but you kind of double check the name. Like, wait, Jordan Peele's directing this? And you're like, can he do that? And it was so critically praised. It was loved that we're like, yes, we accept you this way.
Yeah.
But again, he didn't try to do it all at once. He played with comedy, then he went into horror.
Yeah, and that's very interesting because I also want to touch bases on audience. To kind of go back a little when we're talking about fan bases and consistent fan bases, I agree with you that the more consistent you are, the larger your fan base will be, or like the more consistent growth you'll get with that. But I also think of YouTubers, for example. one prominent YouTuber that we both really love is Game Grumps. Game Grumps has been around for so long, like in YouTube, like they pioneered Let's Plays, and they only have like 5 million subscribers, whereas
Only.
well, okay, but no, that's really big. But what I'm saying is, I want to compare it to like someone, Jacksepticeye. He over the years has done so many different things, and he's deviant off so many different things, and he has a fan base, but it's much more broader and general. Whereas in Game Grumps, they have such, in my opinion, a very committed and very specific fan base.
And that's not an opinion. They know it.
Oh yeah,
they
yeah.
have a committed fan base.
They have a committed fan base, and if you grouped all those people into the same room, and I think they could all get along. They're the same type, but they have the same type of vibe. And if you met someone else that likes Game Grumps and really vibes with it, you could probably get that feeling too. Like, yeah, like this fan base is so like tight, like airtight. And whereas from what I see in Jacksepticeye's fan base, it's a lot more broader. It's a lot more, I like you when you did this. I like you when you did this. It's a lot more about popularity.
Yeah.
Trend.
Well, from what I heard from interviews, actually, it's funny because there was a interview Jacksepticeye having a conversation with Aaron Hansen.
I saw that one.
So it's funny you brought both of those up. I was like, well, I actually can reference a conversation they brought up.
That's why I brought it up. Yeah.
Both of them have mentioned how like as big as a fan base they have, it's to them it's about the committed fan base that would stick around, because if they do try something else, they do see a drop in like viewerships, or some people like unsubscribe but they do that different thing for too long, because it's again that thing of like some people just wanted the Let's Play videos, they didn't want the sketches, or they just don't like the sketches. But I think there is a large number of that fan base that is like, we love you, we just love this brand, we love what it evokes. But with that said though, but what were we trying to get at with that?
That's essentially what I want for me.
Well, if that's what you want, what I've noticed is that it's still that thing of like Game Grumps and Jacksepticeye were Let's Players for years before they tried anything else.
Exactly.
And that's why I keep saying it, is like you really gotta solidify it. And once you do that one thing for years and you get people just loving you, especially Let's Players whose brand are their personalities. People love them for their personalities, that they would love to see them do anything. That's what Game Grumps does the best at. Like, I'm a fan, and it's really like they could not be playing video games and could be doing something else. I'm still watching this because I just love their conversation. I love their interaction. But it's again that thing like, but they didn't start off the channel with like, with taking on like one more than they could chew. And making sure that it started off like, we're a Let's Play channel, okay, and then they're like, we've been doing this formula for quite some time, we're not gonna stop being a Let's Play channel, but let's play with some sketches too. And they have also throughout the more recent times have had to adjust their schedules because of such things. They used to be what was like 2 videos every day, and now it's like, okay, we actually can't do 2 Let's Play videos every day. Now the schedule is like, we're going do a sketch video this day, and then the next day it's a Let's Play video, and then we're going to be doing a live streaming this day. Like, it does change. And but I do see like starting off with that Let's Play, they didn't know where it was going to go, but it was the thing like one thing at a time. Okay, we're getting a fan base, let's just work on that Let's Play fan base, let's deviate a bit more, and let's see who stays. Oh, sweet. That's a lot of people who stayed still. But still, it's like, I would even say, like, even when they do different things outside of Let's Play, they're a comedy channel and they're still doing comedy. They haven't done anything that, like, outside of that genre. That, yeah, they're still kind of in the same thing they're doing.
Yeah. It's really interesting that you say that a specific thing about their personalities. And that kind of makes me think about my situation about my art. Now, I definitely want my art to speak for itself. I really want it to evoke emotion. I really want it to be distinguishable. But now I'm also thinking, I also want to put my personality link with my art because right now, as you know, I'm dabbling into video. I'm dabbling into possibly making YouTube videos, and I love doing it, and I love putting that kind of personality into the process of making a piece of art. It's something that I've enjoyed and something that I feel like I could be really good at because I've been told this many times before. I'm not like the stereotypical artist. I'm not really an introvert. I'm not really someone who like just is always like hermiting in their drawing pad all day, 24/7, and not interacting with anyone. In a sense, like I'm socially awkward. Like I'm the exact opposite. We're both at CIS. Like we're both talking to people, really good at talking to people, and just being entertaining. So I want to see if I can find both ways of evoking my brand for personality and my art.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my problem right now, I feel like my issue, I'm pinpointing a little bit more is I'm every step I'm taking, I'm thinking of the outcome of that step. And I feel like I'm being hesitant on it too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out, like you said, which path should I take and stick to be known for, to get a platform into kind of spreading out.
Yeah. Well, if I was to take a guess at what this is, it really is like, if we're talking about just like on social media, and this is including YouTube, is that even wanting to put your personality out there, well, one, it's not going to be you.
Right.
It's going to be how you're showcasing yourself. Like that's one thing about it. It's like no matter how much you show yourself on any social media, it's never going to be you. It is another version of you. It's very similar to you, but it's not you. And with that, it is that thing of like the reason and that's also like the reason why you just don't jump in and like write something more in your personality or I guess showcase what you do in your regular life, is because it's still a part of this marketing plan of like, well, how is that going to benefit the brand? I'm not just trying to post blogs about my life onto my Instagram channel just for the hell of it. It's like, well, I want to help build up this brand to build the audience. I was doing some research at one point about how people market some things on through social media, and what was very interesting was they said like every post has a goal, even when it just seems like a random post. It was all done to do something. It was all done to achieve a bigger, more defined goal, like something like this is for our defined goal here is to achieve like response rate by like 20%, something realistic. I might be off here. Okay, that might be like, whoa, it's big, but with that, it's like, okay, so that's what we're gonna do. That's our goal, and then what posts are gonna help us achieve that goal? Okay, these ones. Let's do stuff more like this. So that's why I think that's hesitation's going, because as much as like the sentence comes off as just like, I just want to showcase myself, and the answer could be like, then just do it. It's like, well, I'm not just showcasing myself just to do it. I am trying to find out like who is the Azero I'm going to show people, and in the end, how is that achieving this bigger goal? I'm guessing your goal is to have this fan base that reaches into like the 10,000s even. Let's just start there, like maybe just 1,000s. That people share your work without even you knowing them. That people own your work. You don't even know which bedrooms have your posters up. Like that's just your goal there. And I guess it's like making sure maybe even like when you sell your art, you're staying with them. That's not, oh, thanks for buying my art. Here's my business card. That's how you can follow me, see what else I've been up to. Making sure that they are still engaged.
Yeah, and when you say the strategy of having a post mean something, like every post has a purpose, that really makes sense, because I now notice like a lot of social media influencers is usually like when it comes to art, like an in progress thing, like an in progress art. Oh, this is coming out soon, right? And then when they do post it, like, oh, this is all, like, get ready, this is gonna be on Patreon. Like, it's leading up to something,
Yeah.
which really makes a lot of sense now that I think of it.
The post they do is it really is like to draw hype and to
Yeah.
get that attention, because we don't always have a big project we can show every day.
Yeah.
But we can show the progress and tell it's pretty much like remind people, hey, we're still alive, we're still doing shit, still think about us.
Yeah.
Still consider us when you want to, like, I don't know, buy an art piece, you know, or you want to go to a certain convention because a certain artist is at that booth. Consider us, because we're not just this, I don't know, like this blank page that will only come out to advertise. It's all social media. What social media has turned into is just big old space to advertise, and the craftiest people there are the ones who convince you they're not advertising anything.
Yeah.
And again, that would even go to like advertising themselves. When I follow some cosplayers, they show their cosplay. It is great. It's great. But the reason they posted it was to advertise themselves. And then who knows, we're having that brand, that getting well known, well liked, and that attention, what it can do. There's people who have careers based off of just maintaining an Instagram account. It becomes work, but it's fulfilling for them. You know, they still be creative, and in return, maybe they had to do an ad or two. I mean, you see them; they're pretty transparent about it.
Yeah.
But again, it's that thing of, even when there's no hashtag ads, like, this post was posted for a reason. This is not just a random thing. They're either trying to keep up the fandom, increase their fandom, build up the names. They're doing something with this.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the last thing I wanted to say, also with all that, you see artists who just like, oh yeah, look, I'm just drawing, look at that piece of art. And then one day they just say, hey, by the way, I'm going to be doing a booth, or hey, I'm selling prints. Like, again, all those posts were in the end just to, when it comes to that post advertising themselves, and making sure people are seeing their selling pitch and people are considering it because they're like, oh, you know what? This guy's pretty cool on social media. I want to support him.
Yeah. And I feel like now that I hear that, I definitely should. I always felt like I should post like complete things, but I feel like now that I'm thinking about it, thinking of every post as a purpose, with that, even for advertising, would probably be very good for me, since I want to build a brand.
Yeah.
Like, not only to build a brand, but also live off it. I want to start practicing that more, so that's really good. Real quick, because I know we kind of deviated a little bit
I
off.
don't care. You know what? Now it's a cliffhanger for other people. You know, come back to the next episode after this. You know?
All right.
If you got more things to say about this topic, go for it, man. I mean,
Yeah.
like
Well,
I said, this is like an update of anything. This is how the updates kind of start. Like,
well, I guess because I actually want to bring it back to that question of how do we feel about after we did our big project, and now having this information. I was gonna say, it at first I felt very shaky. I felt very kind of all over the place. Like, what do I do next? Like, what is the next step? I felt like I had the next step, but now hearing this, and now hearing new information about maybe not just what my next step is, but what the process is and the steps I should take to kind of initiate that next big project, is something I want to focus on. So if anything, I kind of got a more solidified answer from this podcast, to be quite honest.
Oh, so look at that. Look at that. He's got a revelation, everybody. Now it's your turn. Listen to all the episodes.
Yeah.
So what
That's
is
my
it? Like,
answer.
now you see, like, you don't see the next thing to do is the next project. You see it more like in chunks. Like, next thing I'm doing is the step towards that goal.
Yeah. Kind of analyzing the journey more than the destination right now. And I have always believed the journey is like the most important part. Yes, but I'm being even more specific as to what strategies I would use to continue this journey and to make it more fulfilling and more fun for me.
Yeah.
So
And the funny thing is it's pretty ironic how at this moment in our podcast you're realizing you can advertise the journey, you can make the journey entertainment, when this podcast literally has the basis of we're talking about our journey.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing about it is like the goal was we don't want to just, we want to prove to people like it doesn't just jump to that final result of that short film or that big portrait. Is like there was these things we went through, these certain elements of work that you just don't see in that final product. And even the podcast itself, it's kind of almost meta because like you're seeing us evolve in podcasting through this. Like
you're hearing us figure out shit on the spot.
Yeah, it might be a bad strategy too because people won't know we're getting better at it. They'll be like, "This first episode sucks." It's like, wait, but it's all part of the art piece. We improve on episode 500.
Yeah, I hope we're entertaining enough for them to stick around and hear this.
We're getting every now and then we're getting a new subscriber and a follower, and that's nice. But yeah, I think that's good that you're seeing it that way. My thing is always like, I'm just someone who has had a lot of good talks, and I always end it like, but let's see what happens after the talk, you know?
Yeah.
Which is great because we're gonna, in a week or two, we are gonna have another talk.
Most likely, yes.
I will say, because like, but just know, like, it is, to have that social media presence is work.
It is.
If anyone follows us on our social media, ConUnPod, the first syllable of everything confidently uncertain podcast, I'm advertising. But if you notice, like I kept a consistent posting of like it was like 2 posts a week, and keeping things updated if anything changed in the show, which I think was like also another good reason like follow, like if any updates happen, it's up there. But then, you know, there's like weeks with no post up there, and I just wouldn't update because it does become work, even if it's just a simple pictures. Again, like, well, what's the purpose of this? It's that thing of even like me not doing the videos as much, when it became too much work, like it wasn't fitting my schedule. It would, and then noticing like, well, when I do the video advertisements of the episode, like it gets like 2 likes. You know, so it's that thing of like it could be like good content, but what is it doing in the long haul? Like for me, it's like I hope I'm getting more views. Yeah. I hope it's like showing people that we're still alive, that we're not just here to advertise episodes to kind of show us. But again, it's like, well, what pictures are showing us? What pictures aren't just random? I deviated a bit there, but what I'm saying is, yes, I've been slipping off because even though it does come off as just posting a picture, it could take minutes. It really is more than just that. It's like, okay, what do we have? How are we going to word it? What is it going to do? Why am I posting it? And how do I create this content? It just becomes work, and all it takes is one day you miss your schedule, you forget to post, and you're just like, well, fuck it then.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like
it's hard to keep up.
I have a much more like stronger appreciation for social media influencers and people who get paid to take over a social media platform.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a specific job.
Yeah.
That's a job. I now know why some creators actually pay other people to edit their stuff, because it's so
not just having the content. You literally have to create the content.
Yeah.
And again, you have to make sure that content is going to be doing something for the whole social media, for the brand.
Not even there's definitely a purpose to it, but also it's reflecting your brand. So you have to make sure that the content that you post, especially if you're maintaining your brand, is prime. It's the quality that you want it to be, because anyone can just post a photo, but there's and shit is subjective. I get that, but there is good quality posts and then there's bad quality posts, and it gets way more prominent the higher up you go.
Yeah.
So just maintaining that is so interesting, and it's so. I wonder how it's gonna be.
I wonder if anyone here who is listening, I know we do, but for me, it's like following cosplayers. I think every cosplayer I follow has at least one post that explains their absence.
Yeah.
And they say, I'm so sorry, I've been absent lately, like I haven't been posting much. And then they say something like, I've been, you know, a bunch of schoolwork or work, and like being glued to social media doesn't feel too good. Because it is a job and it can do something to you to be glued to social media. Even thinking of like some people who, what was I going with this? Well, pretty much that. I just want to share like it is. Oh wait, now I remember. The other part of the job is that to keep a good social media, it's communicating with the fans. Also using it as a venue to let the fans know that they matter, because fans matter. They do. Fans are cared for. The only problem is we just can't know the name of every fan. Unless you only have 2 fans. You just can't know the name of all of them, and it's hard to communicate with all of them, but it's good to respond when you can. And there's honestly teams who are there when someone like another Instagram or Twitter name or Twitter handle, or asks a question or addresses a concern, so they don't feel ignored. Is like, oh hey, we hear your concern. Here's a response, and I'm not a robot. Or someone saying something else, like not just making some place where someone just talks into a void. It's like, oh wait, I'm conversating with this person. Like I'm recognized. People like being recognized, and if they're not recognized, they're almost, if they feel no sense of being recognized, then part of it's like, well then, what if I just left? It would make no difference.
Yeah.
I know that sounds almost really deep, but seriously, like we said, social media is something that's a complex job. Like you got to understand a lot of things about it, and you do have to care. In some sense, you have to care about your fans.
Mm-hmm. And doing both, caring about your work and caring,
keeping consistent, making good content, and also that thing lingering in your head. If you just miss a day, maybe, then it all just goes downhill. Yeah. And I've seen other people mention that, in which I know a Batman cosplayer who, because Batman is as popular as before, literally the Instagram algorithm just stopped showing his content to his own followers.
And that's scary.
He said he put so much work into a video that he found and got minimal results compared to like what he usually gets.
Yeah.
And from his fan base, he's like, I put so much work in that video, and it was such a small percentage of you guys who actually saw it. I'm not mad that you guys didn't watch it, but I know what happened. It just wasn't advertised.
Yeah.
I know how videos did before, so it's that question even when I brought up before. Well, how much work are you going to put in to find out nobody's even looking at it?
And I guess that's why, I don't remember the specific name of this person, but I watch his videos for a social media tips. That's why he always emphasizes, don't worry about, and we mentioned this before, don't worry about putting premium high quality content out immediately. Do something that's realistic, post something that's realistic and consistent, and really test, and really as long as you're consistent with your posting and have decent quality stuff, the algorithm will catch on, and it will be much more you'll be able to get a better sense of what works and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know?
I kind of see it almost like there's people I followed, and I don't want to I think a good there's like hundreds of probably people I follow, and I just don't care about them. Like it doesn't really resonate with me, but as long as I'm not doing anything that really annoys me, pisses me off, or I stay around, because it's like you're literally just you're in my Instagram feed. All right, it needs to be filled with something. I don't care, because every now and then you post something and I like that I really like, like it could be a month, it could be 2 months from now. There's a piece of content I'm like, whoa, I'm glad you did this.
Right.
Just in the between of all that, just don't annoy me.
Yeah.
Don't be that thing I go, oh, you're on my
Here
feed.
we go again.
Yeah, I want not to see this.
Yeah, but that's, for me, that's now that I know my goal, or my process, that I want to see what happens. Just chip away chunk by chunk. See what I can do with it. Because the opportunity that we have is that we're still growing.
Yeah.
We don't have 1 million followers. We don't have any accountability towards any fans. There, we do have fans, but we still have time to experiment. So see what happens with this.
Something, I know we're getting towards the end of the episode, but there is this thing I also noticed about myself when it comes to my brand, because I talked a lot about my film brand and how I do comedy, but I also recognize with my performances, I would make stronger brand with my performances. They're more frequent, easier to show some updates on that. I even like advertising big shows, almost like, you know, the point of the page is to be like, oh, you're a fan of my performances. I'm performing at this venue next.
Yeah.
It's just, and also there's this thing in which I heard one person say, if you want to be a director, be good at something else first. Like get attention a different way, and then someone, when they see you're really good at this and have a fan base, and then you ask them like, "Can I direct?" Like, there's a higher chance that they would be like, "Let this guy direct." Yeah, because he's gonna get people to watch. People like him, and that's the interesting thing, in which is kind of like with my social media. I talked a lot about how would I make my film brand better, but if I was to do something with Instagram, Facebook for myself, it's like that would actually be my music career, and that is I don't want to say too much, but it's getting stronger, and it's not ready to be like released as like, yeah, you know me, but I have people who know my name. I have people who I don't know the name of that know my name. That's to make it clear. People who, if they saw the band title "fuck" on something, like, oh yes, we're going to that show. So that's just, I just want to point that out. Who knows what that would take me. I'm not on your boat yet with that social media and trying to put that personality and brand, but I know I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do it if I want to be wise about it. You know, if I want to keep up a fan base and make sure that a venue is like, oh, he can get people into here.
Yeah.
And buy those 2 drinks minimums.
We'll see what happens with that. But with that said, I think now's a good time to wrap it up. I think we'll see what happens. You know, like you said, we can talk about it, but it's usually like the moment after a podcast, like, or a moment after we say something. We gotta put it into play.
Yeah. Right? I guess we'll check back into this.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, as I always say, I hope you're having a good day, and if it's nighttime, I hope you're having a good night. This is Nick Vick signing off.
And Azero Alcala signing off.
Bye-bye.
Bye.